Alrighty, the third reading from Purple Shit Hits the Fan, 47 poems, 7 etchings, written in 1986 with the ISBN number of 0-939-826-00-6. The Library of Congress Catalog Card Number 8572. 875, typeset in QUARDO 15. And on the front cover of the book, etching titled Man on Crutches with Lunch Pail. It's the first audible edition now being read as the spoken word. It's the third reading starting at poem finishing of 20 into 21 and going to 30. Concrete chicken, huffing and puffing and cooing, as if first time strutting, blown up like balloons, Walt Disney's lookalikes. And it looks like the blood's in his toes, feet, head, or red, or heels, like her talking to circles around her in March Maladay, crooked, like cobra hooked to the physical, ready to strike. What a kinky bird with a lazy pin, feathers on her or his sheen. That's got to be dozed over by this bull and his shadow trying to mate her sunlight face. Prodigy without the letter O is not after the egg, with ruffled feathers and mites fallen on her shadowed psyche, thinking eggshells, pippin, chicks, or squabs. And I am thinking 21 and a half, as prairie and boom chicken, cock, then suddenly the whole herd of turtles vanishes like exploding, like a flock of pigeons flying in circles, as a tall, long-legged woman walks up with high heels, clicking and clacking and saying, "These pigeons get my goat," with their pound 2-point body shadows. 22. You, for Steve Kent Sherrod, Christmas 76, in search of me. You, in lipstick, red lips, blonde hair, feet of Fred Astaire, mask, in juvenile sex, maybe feminine, head on, woman always was bigger than you, foot on, you playing footsie with the footloose camera, now foot tied to falconry, to taking flight, as happy, hawking it, is no concern of my imagination, but between loves and a love lip stuck and open hearts. But then the surgery, the big handshake of man as temporary temporal after 28 years in bliss and social attitudes, give or miss a true self, rings true as the story goes, like faster than blue darters, fly only on blue days, give or miss a social sun. But Dad gave us poetry, nature, and a yardstick for measuring out each orifice, to check out the handwriting on the wall by measuring a door. 22 and a half was his illusion, each story touched up with subconscious facts, with the word facts. and physical statistics, but nothing can compare to art of box of pecans on Christmas Day, arranged in rows by sizes, by meats, whether paper-shelled and natives know it or not, to take measure of life, of every limb with pleasure, does not give us life from a real tree of de la Chameis, or shoemate, charade, or charade, are all hard nuts to crack. 23 chance to dream from pink plastic nights to neon facts old as cityscapes that don't know what the scissor tell, or masochistic leanings cut rate city bald as eagle bad between stop signs. Old wings feather the ghost rider, and youth jogs on indiscriminately. Of cinnamon hearts we die, lit up a face of hot flashes, yet lightning striking twice, faceless as faithless skulls, deadpanned as bills, and then Mr. Dollar arrives. The crowd jeers, empty streets blown up like balloons, reality pops off the mirror's edge, narcissistic and naughty. Whose was tormented here? Hair to tortoise to time. What about tomorrow's hat? As old men go to shake it off, faithful as bar signs, stalking the hodgepodge, the eclectic, and run rampant as innocence, 23.5 flat-chested, metallic, and man-made women, wedge-shaped like geese, with clay feet to trap-shoot in formation like flying pigeons, clay-footed, fly northward as lesbian lethal local bombs in a circle like cyclops, fly mouths, flayed out, pushed in, carcasses casting from bone-lit eyes, 50 words a minute, and mediocre, liberal, militia women, ready as carbonated soda drinkers, ad-libbing feminists, have fizzled out to final head-on, head-out visual toys of rag paper hearts number 5 or 2, neutralized like people with no sex, lined up as a chess man on the make, ready to move. Checkmate, and no one makes it. 24 squint-eyed like our keen-eyed brothers the Eskimos, looking for a bone to pick, looking for a white bear or first ivory to carve, fidgeting, frantic, unnerved by time, some sealskin overboard like walking the worded plank, slant-eyed and silly, snow-blinded and chewing the fat, teeth worn, tooth worn, gum worn well down to gum level, word to split level to mouthing, the blubber bluer it than sperm whale, chewing the gums like Monica gums. Phone 212, young girl waiting for the teething, young girls sweet toothed and asking which Eskimo is ours, which bone do you want, sweet meated and sucked clean. 24.5, names scratched, signature difficult to decipher, in lipstick on a notepad bad, and all the way from pounds to dollars. Cousin, open-eyed, in, dark mouth, and slight build, and straight derricks hanging over the water. Like a narwhal's ivory of her skeleton, closed-eyed and mind, yet out west they say, Meat is sweeter the nearer the bone. The closer the bone, the sweeter the meat. Skinny minis delete if one's own cannibalistic own red lips, love printed like a secret mission. Prints like Mrs. or 000 like newsprint, but in and on. The muscles is better than the misprinted word, like tattoos or one word or missile shot through the shadows of sunlight, of Grove Street, Oval Park, Field House, fall quietly across Newport, Swiggers, cigarette sign 24 3/4. Then he, hawing, laughing, slapping leg in East Orange to Let's Peel an Orange, and a black woman saying she was a cancer and she never hurt no one who smoke. Look at me, look at you, at that whitey over there. Doesn't he look cool? His head looks like an igloo, or polar bear looking for fire, or dinosaur bone. For title, Federer's 12-gauge 6.5 shot Limoa, 25, 1980 election year in panic. The baby, the cock, the roach, masticated, stepped on the floor and popped and ran ahead by rule of the thumb, dictators putting down their thumbs forever, but just the same. I wouldn't want to wrestle my cock-fed fears. Peers caught up in fuck emotion. Freaks, but wait a minute. 30 seconds and one could get fed up. A spirit provoking the flesh heads, locked up in communal igloo queue, babies and tongues tog young chicks, and taking chickens or skin flicks could get Jimmy Carter's voice up, Presidente a la cotton, picking and going pubic or public dent, first governor to never make it for peanuts. Yet on 42nd Street with hardcore and one high-pitched vice or voice, she said it's so cough, she said it's soft as cockroach smoking overhead of scanty-clad girl on Rialto 2's show facade. A real bug burning in hell, crawling, smoking across her Rayo Ups 25.5 or La Cucaracha or Blata D, fiery in transit. Yet I'm Jesus Christ and the devil made me do it, they say. 26 from Crown Heights, section Alfonso Paco, 28-year-old carrying a Bible, and Betty Ann Paco, 32 years old, with machete protruding from chest. It's all here. Her stabbed and setting her afire while his children watched. Machete protruding from chest like love directed in war or in another death of broad manic depression, sardanapalus or bitch, charcoal in bloody bed, or Bloody Mary, or Bloody Betty, machete protruding from chest, all burned up, setting her afire while her children watched. Poor girl, poor mother, poor children. What a deranged creep. Over moral issues or barbecue on Sunday to think. 26.5, he thinks he's devil Christ or Jesus Christ over moral issues or barbecue on Sunday. 27, all wet from where we've been, curb to curb, taking it in stride like Ruffles potato chips, wrapper floating by after rain in concrete puzzle, reflecting skyscrapers silhouetted in tension to break in the surface, like the sound barrier like some jet-minded audience or conscience, insisting on the garbage avant-garde, but with love. And then the jogger jogging by, casting his angel, his shadow over the arrangement. My man, Mother Nature, post oak leaves, to paper New York Post, Wednesday, April the 2nd, 1980, to page 6. Have a Greek Easter, and to the polls say, and in the failed crash of Wall Street, orthodox engine, rag biz fears lost of riches is, far cry from Wordsworth daffodils. Or is it man with woe, man's need of nicotine, cigs with 27.5 filters to chock full of nuts, paper cups, lids to corrugated cardboard, propping up his need of Wrigley's sticky stuff to carry on the tongue or stashed in sidewalk gum of gods? Sherrod, you're chewing the word into empirical litter, and all this in 2 foot to 4 foot puddle. 28. Revolutionary. Grunwald, Gallatin, Meissen, 2, slither on backs blue-green as blotches, slither on sacks pale white as crotches, blood teeth soaked to the hilt in Lady Christ, man romp like rats in love paint, prosody. Murder is no makeup for Mickey Mouse, killing is no time for a wrist watch, self-denial, hands ticking, truth for masses. A hired killer rubbing images to glands. Beneath the ego-stacked stage of every face, a false mask on true face of Minnie Mouse. Pleading guilty, you took the Fifth Amendment straight, as drinking the vodka you poured the pleading guilt to the first wrong commandment. Pleading guilt, you took, wait a minute, Disney, and that's all, folks. But God, Donald Duck, $7.69 for a gallon, 14th Street, AAA, Spirit Squirt, and listen, you alcohol brain, JY pound to dollars, when I didn't know or didn't wear the special shirt with red collars, JY do drown like Drosophila in Bergella. Sober rebos up poo, Latin for what ails you. Then the repeat of the fruit that gets into the eye, first physical gear to open fly, even if a mouse in your house. JJ, pound, dollar could blow your fears to a bad kidney. But Grunwald, yes, suffering on the cross, sores and putrid smells and flies crawling, hair on too, J for Christians, real thirst for religion, or for 1,000 real crimes, each drop a lie pulsing like alcohol in an art makes us afraid to cry. But to sob for self gets a little gooey, to whimper art out without resurrection. But to sob for others, but to sob for others? Yes, I hear you, blue, white, star, fright, redneck, you're not on trial. Jesus, I forgive you. Emotion is dangerous even from a religious man. When rednecks say they're through, they are. Since words, and I can't get enough, consignment propped up with props, as professor, no student, no teacher, tight-lipped, tight-legged, in lesson to tonguing it, like Queen Nefertiti, no archetype covenant, but pastel-esque nudes, hungover and spiritually sexed as sexed over leftovers with no skinned out Egyptian angels, with their hands hard-scaled and stinking, thinking. Dark eyes don't dark make us. Glands one-eyed and blinking eyes are still Italian. Mascara, Vicara. Little Italian fig leaves publicized by public author, by literal bullies, bullish at the top at Mount Summit, like New Jersey gods without godhead, art godless techniques like Beelzebub, and were round as the letter O. Fired by the first feminist with kinky hair and prosecutor faceless playful red dress, way out for spies like J. Edgar Hoover. Communists emulating way ahead of the group. Like IOD'd on I plus Rex or modern translations of Greek columnist, circumcised by author, deity of glass eyes as Italians, glassy-eyed and still perspectives. 29. To Natalie, glass hearts, glass tart, no studio babes with rabies, no studio studs with studio duds, but life, like Adam and Eve, kicked out of Eden. 29 and a half, pounding out the gossip, typing out the word, the song, and always saying hissed to her dog, Sandy, like a comic strip. And the last poem is 30, imaginatively a cast but not a play. Upon meeting Ernesto Puntar and others, and potential suicide of mixed marriages, and a conversation in a one-way street of poetry, with my compliments to Cummings to save Whitman and faces, feces, face, well, hi, Punjab, where's Puntar? Is he with Daddy Warbucks or Little Orphan Annie? You know, 2 frames short of being framed in a comic strip like a concrete chicken, huffing and puffing. So that's the next 10, which makes now 30 poems read out of the first Audible edition. Again, this book was written in 1986. And when I inquired with the Library of Congress, how come I never received a letter from them okaying this book, they said it did not exist. Now, whether it was censorship or whether it was by the government, an acknowledgement that it never existed, when I have even a catalog card number, and when I have all the info here that was sent to them. So in a way, one feels like one's book, Purple Shit Hits the Fan, was on a blacklist at that time in 1987 or 8 or 9. But it's being put on YouTube now as the third attempt at reading in 2015. There will be one more group of 10 poems coming up. So to be continued, and look for it. This book is put up in 4 parts of 10. 46 poems as a total.